This is Steph Curry in high school. As you can tell, his shooting form it's a little bit different than how he shoots now, but for the most part, it's pretty similar. It's gotten quicker and smoother as he rises up and releases. Even as his NBA career progressed, you could see these habits still play a part in his shot release. However, it's not something that's common to see. When you think of players with a, quote, perfect jump shot, I think of guys like Klay Thompson or Ray Allen. In my opinion, those two are the best representatives for what a perfect jump shot looks like. But for Curry, when it comes to his combination of ball handling, creating his own three-point shot, shooting off the dribble or off screens, he's arguably the best in NBA history at doing so. If you add on his ridiculous volume and percentage, it's quite clear he's the best. Before Curry, it was unprecedented to see a guy take over 10 threes a game while shooting like 45%. Even more impressive when you consider that a significant fraction of his threes are not assisted. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and in this video, we're gonna take a look at Steph Curry's jump shot. How did he end up shooting this well? Was he always this good at shooting? And how did his upbringing and training methods affect how he shoots today? One of the biggest and most prominent discussions I've heard centered around his genetics. You know, everyone says that because his father, Del Curry, was also a great shooter, playing 16 seasons in the NBA, averaging over 40% for his career, he never shot anywhere near the same volume as Steph. Now, I don't want to get into the debate of nature versus nurture, or if shooting is passed down genetically. There's a case to be said that things like depth perception could be hereditary and passed down from your parents. The whole genetics argument is frankly lazy. The reason Steph shoots so well is because his dad taught him so well, and they trained together from such a young age. Because Del was in the NBA, when Steph was a child, he was always surrounded by basketball players. He would always beg his parents to take him to real NBA workouts, just so he could practice with the adults. At the age of 5, Steph was tagging along with his dad and joining workouts on the Charlotte Hornets. According to former Hornets coach Alan Bristow, he said, "Near the end of practice, we would only use half the court, so Stephen would be down there on the other end shooting while we were scrimmaging half court." His mother, Sonia, stated, "He tried to emulate the players. Stephen would come back to his AAU team and try the same passes the Hornets players did. But his teammates weren't expecting the ball. We told him, 'Son, not everyone is seeing what you're seeing.'" By 1999, at the age of 11, Steph would compete against NBA players in horse competitions, and he would routinely win. What also drove him and forced him to adapt his game was due to his unspectacular height and frame. When he was 15 years old, he was 5'8" and 150 pounds. That's pretty normal for the average 15-year-old, but not for somebody with dreams of playing in the NBA. At this point, he needed to stand out. He needed to improve his skills and focus on creating his own niche. He would start practicing and shooting relentlessly, taking over 1,000 shots before every single high school practice. Around this time, he also had to relearn his shooting form. Prior to high school, he, quote, still used a flip shot that seemed to originate from his belt buckle. It was inefficient and easy to block, and Del knew that if Stephen had any aspirations to play at the next level, he'd have to tear it all down and rebuild his shooting mechanics from scratch. Eventually, this developed into the current shot that Steph has today, an extremely quick, fluid motion shot with very little lift on his legs. This style of shot is called a one-motion jump shot, where basically his entire shot is done in one fluid motion. In contrast to players like Klay Thompson or Ray Allen, where they have two-motion jump shots. There's some advantages to the one-motion shot, especially the power and range of it. But it's the quickness of the shot which makes it deadly. Since Curry was undersized in high school and college, and to an extent the NBA as well, since a lot of bigger defenders are guarding him, His one-motion jumper makes it easier for him to get off his shot. On top of all this, Steph's ridiculous work ethic was very apparent when he was at his lowest point. In his early days in the NBA, he developed some ankle issues that plagued him for a while until 2012. To combat this, Steph did a ton of exercises and weight training to stabilize his lower body. In 2016, it was reported that Steph had the second highest deadlift on the Warriors, right behind Festus Ezeli. According to Pablo Torres of ESPN, he described Curry's workouts and the staggering progress he made. Curry swiftly perfected a yoga pose called the single-leg hip airplane, designed to build balance and core strength. He conquered the hip hinge, the fundamental movement of explosive lower body exercises, in 10 minutes. It was those ankle injuries that motivated Steph to try even harder to prove himself, and this increased motivation coincided with the Warriors' rise to championship status. Additionally, Curry has a plethora of sophisticated training methods that surprised even his own peers. I'm sure we've all seen videos like this. His dribbling skills have become an iconic part of his pre-game ritual. While shooting was always a part of his game, his handles drastically improved as he got older and reached his prime. His dribble pull-up game makes him deadly, and his ability to run off screens and release so quickly is the result of all this training. These unorthodox training methods have been well documented and studied by Warriors reporter Ethan Sherwood Strauss. There's a concept in psychology called cognitive overload, where a person is being fed too much information at once, to the point where they retain a very minimal amount. When it comes to basketball, there's a similar overload concept, which basically challenges a player's ability to focus on many tasks at the same time. Curry's workouts employ these methods. Instead of not being able to retain any information, or in this case, skills, Curry does. It almost comes natural to him. According to an article by Strauss, when he attended Curry's workout, he stated, "Overload means flooding your perception to challenge your ability to focus on the tasks at hand. There was the Steph drill where you catch a tennis ball while dribbling a basketball. There was the Steph drill where you dribble a heavy basketball and a regular one simultaneously. There was the drill that involved continuously transferring a ball to bounce between your legs while simultaneously maintaining a regular dribble with your other hand. There's also this natural advantage that Curry seems to have that others don't really talk about. That would be his relatively modest arm length. For most NBA players, their wingspan is ridiculous, sometimes 6 or 7 inches more than their height. But for Steph, his height and wingspan are pretty much the same. Generally, it's easier for players with shorter arms to be more accurate shooters, as you can keep the ball closer to your body before releasing. You get better hand-eye coordination. Other examples include JJ Redick or Ray Allen or Klay Thompson, all of them phenomenal shooters who don't have crazy wingspans. So to sum it all up, Curry had a great upbringing, being surrounded by NBA players right when he was born, and he took a very high interest in the sport because of that. Having access to premier trainers, gym equipment, his own personal basketball court, cause his father was a millionaire, he was dealt a great hand. Even so, due to his smaller stature, Curry had to work his tail off too. I think that's something he doesn't get enough credit for. Outside of the Warriors organization, there's a certain level of jealousy, and sometimes even animosity towards him. Many believe he was a product of his environment, that he grew up privileged and that he had everything he could have wanted, while other NBA players came from nothing and have incredible rags to riches stories. Curry never had that life, the life of guys like LeBron James or Jimmy Butler, but he's always been an underdog. Would he be as good as he is if he wasn't born into a basketball family? Probably not. But with his crazy work ethic instilled in him at a young age, he would have been successful, regardless of where he came from. Anyway, that's all, folks. Let me know your thoughts on Steph's rise to superstardom. At one point, it seemingly came out of nowhere, and I remember the days when everyone mocked the Warriors for even re-signing him after all those ankle problems. It seems like such a long time ago. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.